Well, everybody. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Sunday Scoop. Joining me today is the great Anna Catherine Walding.
Whoop, whoop.
And we had actually been in here talking for about an hour already.
Yeah.
Yes, the recording did not work, so we were like, let's just kill the silence.
Chat.
We basically did the whole podcast without recording. So, but you know what? I'll hold that conversation personal in my heart.
Yes.
It's not for y'all, but we're about to tell y'all some of it anyway.
Yeah.
Because this is
all the juice, but like...
This studio holds no secrets, so everything's about to be spewed out.
Yes.
But anyway, join with me is Anna Catherine Walding. Y'all guys should go check out her YouTube channel.
Yes.
It is Anna Catherine Walding, her name. She does makeup, fitness, so if you're a girl that wants to better yourself, go check out her. She's a great role model.
Thank you.
And if you want somebody who has a chipmunk voice and likes to spit out his personal beliefs and all this other crap, then you just keep watching this show, and you will be A-okay. But anyway, why don't you tell us more about your YouTube? We'll start to get to know you first. Since this is an introductory episode to the show, y'all will get to know me a bit better and how all of this came to be. So I'm looking forward to that. But first, let's get on with our interview guest so I don't feel so selfish.
I don't know. So, like, kind of how I started it, what made me start it?
Yes. Well, first, let's say how we met. So.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting story in itself because it was crazy.
Because normally when you hold the door open for somebody, you don't end up becoming friends with them. It's just kind of a polite gesture. But I held on to it.
And I said thank you. So, like, I technically started a conversation.
You said thank you, and I was like, I'm going to take this one sentence she said and turn it into something it's not. Oh.
I mean, 2 words means a lot because, like, Jesus wept. So, like, they're very powerful words.
Oh,
so,
that
like,
is very true.
Thank you is like, you know.
You know what else Jesus said? What? I am.
So, yeah. And then me and Caroline were actually sitting on the bench.
And y'all were laughing at something on your phone, and I was just so nosy. I was like,
I want to laugh.
I was like, I want to laugh. I want to make friends because I'm here at college. That's what it's about. It's about making friends. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go over here and talk to these girls.
Yeah.
To make my girlfriend jealous at the time. An ex. Anyway, we'll get into that later because I know some of y'all want to know about some legal issues, and I will get to that because I need to clear that up with a lot of people. And don't worry, it's not going to be hate-filled. So if that certain someone's watching right now, do not report me to the police. I will not say your name. But, yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. So tell me, so we were just laughing. I got to know her, got to know Caroline, and I stopped coming to, like, Wallace pretty much after that because some personal stuff came up.
Yeah.
But this is.
But we still chatted, like we. Still
we had chat every now and again. But now she's here in my studio in person, so it's good to have her.
Yes,
which is very good. So tell me what you've been up to ever since Wallace, because you said you changed your major.
Yeah, that's actually big news for me because I was in pre-nursing first semester, and then I changed it to general studies for second semester just because my parents didn't want me to do cosmetology.
Right.
So it was very hard. Like I told him, I was like, I felt like I was coming out because it was just like so scary and just.
You felt like you were coming out the closet.
Yeah, because I was like, I have something to tell you, and like you're not gonna like it, and that sort of thing. So. Yeah, I just was like, this is my passion. I prayed about it for a very long time, and I was like, this is just what I love to do. I'm talented at it. It's my gift, and so, yeah, I did it, and I don't regret it, and I'm super excited because I start this summer, and then I'll be graduated by next summer.
That's really good, because
yeah.
you know what? My barber screws up my hair already, so, you know, I can be your test guinea pig, because I'm used to, you know.
Your hair looks great. It looks very,
thank you. Well, before
juicy.
it looked, it looks voluptuous.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, anyway, so I was at, what was I about to say? Oh. So, anyway, you said you were going to do cosmetology, which is really good. I dated one girl from Mississippi. Not Mississippi, sorry. She was from and now she's in Mississippi State, and she's doing, she used to sell skincare routine stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot
Aesthetics.
Yeah, it was stuff like that.
Yeah, I work for an esthetician, so I kind of know a little bit about that.
Oh, you know about the business industry.
Yes,
that's
and
really
that's
good.
what I want to do. Also, want to like own my own little business and that sort of thing. Like,
oh, that's really cool. You can be like the next Belk, next Ulta.
I just kind of like Dillard's more.
Yeah, you're a Dillard's girl. I'm more of a Kohl's.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. I've never been to Kohl's.
You never been to Kohl's?
I mean, maybe like once.
I remember going into Kohl's with my young friends, and we would hide in like the clothes. Yeah. Like you would hop from bush to bush like you were in Vietnam. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? And you'd surprise the elderly, make them activate their life alert.
But yeah, I'm sure they would. So.
But anyway, so we're speaking of you felt like you were coming out of the closet telling your parents about.
Yeah, because I feel like, a lot of times people.
Oh, I was just gonna bring up that we're in a closet right now. If y'all didn't know, this studio's in a closet. It's really a budget studio. It is a $2,000 budget studio, and it's pretty good. If y'all guys like it, y'all make sure y'all hit that bell notification. I know I'm stroking my mic. I'm sorry. I have these little habits. But anyway.
Yeah, subscribe. Hit the notification bell.
So y'all are probably wondering. Yes, y'all are probably wondering. I actually self-advertised this at church. I was like, if y'all want to hear me give my testimony, subscribe. And everybody subscribes, and I got more subscribers, so that's pretty good.
Great.
But how did all this podcast stuff come to be? Well, it all happened through failure. And that was a very good lesson that I've learned from the Bible and Christian upbringing, is that failure makes and breaks a person. It breaks you first, then makes you, because you learn from getting broken.
Yeah.
God likes to bend you over and break you in half. Anyway, so, we'll talk about that. So, how all this happened? Well, I had to change some things about myself and start having more realistic goals and achieve them. And it all started with a bad breakup. And this bad breakup goes into...
breakups are like the center of everything.
They are, because you just feel so invested in them. Yeah. And then as soon as something bad happens, you feel so attacked that you don't know what to do.
Because you feel like it's you.
Yeah, it does. It makes you question yourself. It makes you... A lot of things change after a breakup, because... When you get really close to somebody, they tell you a lot of stuff about yourself that other people don't.
Yeah. Or
because they're so close to you.
Grow, or you just become worse of a person.
Yes. That is very true. Yeah. And the reason why Bryce Betts was supposed to be here first episode, but the topic of this breakup led to an arrest, and what happened, I feel like it would be more better if I had a female standpoint on it, which is why Anna's here. So we will get into that. Yeah. So anyway, before me and Anna had met, this was before.
Was a little bit before, and then while we had kind of met. So it was in between.
So we're gonna start off with a relationship that happened in, let's start with the first one, because everything's like a domino effect. You get what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, it depends. You could just kind of go with the second one and then base it off of
the first time, when we first talked. Do you want to do it that way? I'm not gonna say your name, it's because I thank you for all this. But anyway, what had happened was we were dating, I was actually in a bad state. I was not a very brought up person, meaning I was the father fornicator. I was a man. I was chasing worldly, lustuous things. And I was just meeting with these women. And then I met her in the summer of this year, and she was a very kind-hearted person. And even after, she had come over to my house and, we had done stuff, I didn't want to leave her because I felt like I just kind of wanted to stop hooking up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wanted to settle down for once.
It doesn't fulfill you.
It doesn't fulfill you. It's just gratification for that time being. Yeah. It's nothing it's why you cherish marriages.
Yeah.
And you look back on the dumb little hookups is because things last. The touch of a woman in the morning, waking up beside her every day. It's that same woman, that same person that brings you up. And I really felt that with her.
Yeah.
I really felt comfortable, and she was very understanding because I'm not really a liked person in this community. So her sticking with me through all that, and sometimes I would just kind of say things that turns people's heads, but to her it was comedy and it's funny, and it's good just to have people that understand you.
Yeah. Well, don't judge. I feel like in this world, so many people judge, and that's not our place.
Right.
And but I feel like other people also misconcept that, because as Christians, if you are another Christian, with me and you, if you're doing something wrong, it's okay for me to say, hey, you're doing something wrong. But, other than that, I feel like judging you as, of a person and stuff, I feel like that's wrong. And that's,
it is wrong because...
hurtful.
Because what does God say? Our righteousness is like filthy rags. Nobody's righteous, not one.
Yeah.
And we just gotta learn to love. Paul says it best in 2 Corinthians. He says, love is patient. Love is kind. It holds no records of wrongs. It's not envious. It doesn't boast. Basically, love is unconditional. Yeah. You love somebody regardless of how they were brought up, what they have done in your past, what they have done to you, or what they will do.
Yeah.
because we're all human, right? We all downfall.
And if God forgives us, then like who are we to not forgive others?
Right.
Because we're the ultimate, like the biggest sinners ever.
Right.
So.
I definitely get that. And Paul murdered Christians before he was Paul, if y'all didn't know this, Paul of Tarsus or whatever. Saul of Tarsus, and then he became Paul.
Yeah.
So during the New Testament, shortly after the Christ resurrection, Peter and John and all the disciples were going into the streets, proclaiming the good news that he had risen. And Paul, thought that that Jesus was the heretic, and everybody they felt like Peter and all of them were leading them away from the true God, Yahweh, God the Father, and that Jesus was not the Son. So Paul sniffed out the Christians, or Saul sniffed out the Christians and started killing them one by one until Jesus revealed himself to Paul on the way to Damascus. I think it was where he was on the way to.
I believe so. Maybe yeah.
Yeah, it was Damascus, I think. And then basically he made Paul an official leader of Christ. You want to know why I think that? Is because he was a murderer of God's own people, Christians, and he took what was bad of Paul and turned it into something good.
Yeah.
And that is the whole basics of the Bible, is
failure
and redemption.
Yeah, like, you did something and, like, you failed or whatnot, and then God just took you and took your situation, like, your everything, and just turned you into a better person, into who you are now. And, sometimes we have to go through that. I mean, maybe not everybody does, but, like, some people have that to go through.
Everybody has to go through a personal change. Everybody has their own obstacles. And we should all respect people going through those obstacles. We shouldn't... I mean, if it's part of God's plan that we help beat them down to bring them up, so be it. But everything, it's weird how God works. It's something that we're not meant to understand, which is what makes God so great. It's because if we fully understood God, it would seem like we made him up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, or like we were better than him, or like knew everything, and that takes away his power. Just things like that. So.
Right. Anyway, so I was talking to this girl in the summer, and it led up into, so she was in high school, I'm in college. Sometimes those two lifestyles don't mix well. And I learned during that time I did have some insecurities, because she's pretty cool, and she was more friends with dudes. And I was just really jealous of that.
Which I will say, like I said earlier, about the whole guy thing. We were talking about trust.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, sometimes we can be insecure, like... If I was dating you and you had a bunch of girlfriends, it doesn't matter. Like, when people say, like, oh, I trust you, but I don't trust them. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if you trust them or not, because they're not going to do anything that you don't allow them to do. So, for instance, like, you can go out with a bunch of girls and they could all swarm around you. But if you don't, like, give them attention, anything like that, it doesn't matter.
Be respectful.
Yeah, like, you're still with me. So, like, it's like, whatever. Because they can give you as much attention as they want. But, like, as long as you don't allow it and give it to them back, then it's like, there's nothing. And so I feel like people always say, well, I don't trust them and that. But, like, ultimately, if you don't trust somebody, you don't have a relationship. And it's just kind of like...
And it's just going to fall apart from it's going to fall apart from the beginning. And maybe... So maybe I was setting ourselves up doomed from the start. But, once something's good, I didn't feel like letting it go.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff. But I think one of the problems was, like, she was good friends with her ex. And that's the hardest part. I don't really get that. I feel like... I feel...
In some circumstances, it's okay. Because, like, I'm like, really good friends with my ex. But he's also my stepbrother now. So it's
what are you doing, stepbro?
I know. So it's kind of, like, weird. But, like, at the same time, we're better as friends. But it depends, because, like, sometimes
I wouldn't have made me mad, but here's what happened. She had actually broken up with him the day before she met me.
Okay, then.
Yeah, so everything...
It's like a rebound.
I did kind of feel like a rebound. I feel like I just wasted my time, right?
Yeah.
And she had put me through so much, or I'll say I did. I put myself through this because of her. There was just so much stuff that had happened, so much mistrust. I was going to college. I was trying to focus on school. She's young. She's indecisive. She was too young. I shouldn't have dated her.
But I mean, like, you live and you learn. And, like, not everybody's the same. Because, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty mature for my age, just like you are.
Right.
So, I mean, it just...
Yeah, and I felt like I put her at a high standard. Because she'd have a good heart. She was very understanding, especially for her being a junior.
Yeah.
In high school. She's just a very smart person.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't mean everybody is still without their flaws, right?
Right.
And I had my flaws, she had hers, and we both picked out each other's flaws.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we did that, it just kind of like led to an endless battle.
Yeah.
And it went downhill. But at the time, I had kind of lost everything after I'd lost her. Like, I'd lost my friends, I didn't have a job, and I was failing school because I was so focused on her. that I had went to like, so like I had tried, I thought it was all over, right? So like, what do you think? Oh, I'm gonna die. You know, you feel like you want to die. And I felt like this was really gonna happen to me. So I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna hurt myself. So I said, I want to go to the hospital and I just want to take a break. And I said, take my phone.
Yeah.
And I said, take my phone because that is one of the biggest problems in society today is social media. Everybody's trying to be comparative. Everybody's trying to win this battle of who can post the most highlights.
It, you know?
Yes, everybody just tries to have like this self-esteem boost because when people slide up, it's just these little meaningless things that devalues like
it's like, she got
personal
likes and comments and stuff. And I'm like guilty of that because, you know, I look at it and I'm just like, oh, this girl got, you know, more likes than me or has more followers. And ultimately, like, it doesn't matter because, like, that's, like, think about it. This is never even going to matter when we get to heaven if you're
right.
Christian.
Everything's temporary, right? You got to look at everything like it's all meaningless, right? That's like Solomon says in Ecclesiastes. That's one of my favorite books. It talks about how everything's like wind. It's just, or dust. It's just kind of temporary. It swipes up, then it goes away.
And if you're a Christian, you know, you have something to look forward to.
Yeah, you know that this is not your home. You know that the pain is temporary. You know that you shouldn't put so much effort into the world unless it's for God's glory. Because ultimately, if it's not for God's glory, over time, you'll just be forgotten.
Yeah. Then, like Billy Graham said, like, you know, heaven is my home. I'm just traveling through the earth, you know.
Yeah, that's very, I like that. Hold on, I think my camera's kind of...
Do you want to turn on this light?
No.
My phone's charged.
No.
Okay.
We're just going to keep talking, okay?
Fine.
Just let the light hit you.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, back to... So I went to the hospital, and I was like... I went to, like, this place where they help people that kind of feel suicidal.
I'm sorry, I popped my neck. I'm not laughing at you.
Ow. So anyway, so I went there, and I was like, wow, these people actually have it worse than me. Like, it gives you a reality check. Like, here I am... making a big deal out of this breakup, you know?
Everybody always has something, like, worse than you, like, you know?
Some kids were there because I had nowhere else to go, which is the sad part.
Yeah.
That's the really sad part.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and even while I was there, I was trying to, I think, like, God reminded me that I have a voice and I need to show it. So I had brought my Bible. That's the only thing I brought with me from home was my Bible because I was like, God's my only friend now. And while I was there, I was trying to talk to the kids about, like, the Bible. And while I was there, like, the text, which is what they're called, even they played Hillsong Worship in the lobby, but when I get back there, I can't even talk about, like, God or whatever because it makes people feel uncomfortable, and I'm like...
That's so messed up.
That's just kind of hypocritical.
Maybe
it sends a false
God
message.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You can talk about God where it doesn't feel offensive. You can talk about Jesus as an historical figure. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I went home with a good attitude. And there was even some girl I met that she didn't have it that bad. She just was going through a breakup too, and I thought she was pretty, and we were talking. So when I went back, I re-spoke to my ex, and I was like, "Hey, I feel good about myself. I'm sorry for all that happened. We can be friends." And I met this girl there, and everything's going good, so you don't have to worry about me. And everything would have been fine from there, but she got upset and then called me saying she felt kind of hurt that I got over her within a week, which wasn't true. I still had feelings. You know, it wasn't that quick. But I felt like me telling her I met that girl at, like, the hospital made her feel like she didn't have to worry about me. But that wasn't the case. I was like, okay, so do you want me or not? She's like, I don't know. Where I'm like, here, I'll stick with you until you figure out.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is that she's so young and indecisive. That was the thing, is I felt like I was putting too much hope into it, and she was, and she...
You should never put yourself on like that, you know, because, like, you're worth more than that, you know. And
I felt like I was just led on, and everything wasted my time, you know. And so my instinct was, I'm just so angry. She sent me to this mental hospital. She sent me over the edge. She made me lose my school. She made me lose my job. I don't know. She just, all this stuff, right? And so I'm like, let's just fight. And the reason why, like I've told you before, why I said let's fight was because it all goes back to the first instance.
Yeah, where you did that and it came better.
Yes, like with this girl named, we won't say her name.
Sarah.
We'll call her Sarah. And she was ghetto and white, so a wigger. She was quite the... she was quite the, she was quite the opposite of me. You know, I think that's kind of like a thing when we're young. We chase the opposite of us because it's more interesting and mysterious. Like, you want to know more about that. But we had talked, and I was head over heels because she was like my first love or whatever. And while we were talking, some stuff went bad, like while we dated, and like it turned really abusive. Like, I wouldn't leave her alone because I was clingy, but like she would hit me in public and be abusive. But I think she liked me chasing her because I gave her attention, because I give her food. I felt like I was just getting used. You get what I'm saying? I was made a fool of. And so I finally...
That's like the worst.
It is. I left her alone, though. I did leave her alone, but a few days later, my mom called me to the office because I didn't have my phone on me at the time. And she goes, Bryce, what happened? Like, is somebody on your phone? Is Sarah on your phone? I almost said her name.
Yeah.
Is Sarah on your phone? Because it says on Instagram you came out as gay. And I didn't put that. So I was like, wow, she must still have my password. And she did that. So I was like, I'm tired of her letting control my life. So I said, I need to end this. So I ran across campus and I beat her up, you know, and I told you that. And I know that everybody says don't hit a female, but
I feel like it goes both ways. And that's like where I come in as like the female, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't hit anybody. It doesn't matter. Right. Like, you shouldn't hit a guy and a guy shouldn't hit you. Like, you shouldn't, like, it's
right.
equal rights.
Equal rights, equal fights. God doesn't, but that's a worldly teaching, but God does not discriminate.
Yeah, like,
right, God sees violence as violence. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's humans against humans. Society puts this construct around, like, you shouldn't hit a female because females are portrayed as weak and feeble, and we're strong. But
like, no, like, well, girls should not hit a guy, and I think they do as much physically and emotionally abuse and things like that is probably even more than guys, but they can't speak up and out about it because it's like, oh, you're turning it against us and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like really crazy, this whole feminist thing. Like, I don't agree with that, you know, because it's like, you know, God made man and then he made woman from man.
Right.
And it's just like, you know, sometimes you just got to take a step back and let a man be a man.
Right.
So that, you know, it's like, it's not like it's, oh, they're better. It's just like, that's what they were designed and created to do, you know? And
yes.
So I don't know. I just really don't like when girls say that because I'm like, you want equal rights? Well, then put up with it.
Equal responsibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And I thank you for putting that in there because I know we're Southern raised. A lot of people just don't agree with that. So I'm glad I got your input on that. But anyway, so what happened was I went to ALC, and then I ended up meeting people from Southside, and I felt so happy when I went there. Everybody, all the people that became my friends are still my friends today. They're the kind of friends that bring you up, don't put you down. And they led me to changing schools, and my life just became better. I had met more godly people. I had just bettered myself, and it was in a right headspace.
Yeah.
And that was the best part, is that I got in a right headspace.
Yeah.
And it made me reflect and think about that story with Joseph and his brothers, what God meant for bad. Oh, no, what you meant for bad, God meant for good. So me beating her up led to the redemption of me. Like, the realization that I can become better than this. Because in life, you can either sit back and become what people say you are, or you can rise above it.
Yeah, and even though it's, like, bad what you did, and you know, but it's like, God forgives. And
right, because failure. We fail as humans.
From that, and
right, because I do feel sorry.
Yeah.
And as humans, we shouldn't downbring other people because of their past. Because I actually just got dropped from a job because of my past.
Yeah.
And they found out about it because people don't know how to love. Paul, a murderer, who became transformed by God, wrote over half the New Testament.
Yeah.
You know, because he turned what was for bad into good for his glory. Everything bad works for God's glory, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And what I was getting from that is God had turned around my life from that. I lost track of what I was saying.
And we were talking about and how you were thanking her for like everything happening.
So after that, so let's go back to the recent incident where I said I wanted to fight her. In my mind, I was like, well, since I fought this last girl and everything went good, maybe this will happen the next time. So I went and I fought her. It was consensual. She was like, pull up and let's fight. So I was like, okay. So I pulled up, we fought, and her grandma pressed charges.
Yeah.
And we knew I was getting arrested because her grandma called my mom and said, hey, I'm gonna press charges against your son. This just wasn't cool. So we just waited for the officers. The officers did come. And I was like, here, you can take me. I actually shook his hand. I was like, hey, I'm Bryce. He's like, hey, I'm Officer Roger or whatever. And he was like, you know why I'm here, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I do. You don't have to read me my rights. Yeah. I was like, here's my hands. and Mom was just crying. I was like, Mom, it's okay. This is all going to blow over. And it did. Because once again, God took this, what happened bad, and made it for good. Because now I have the studio. So I thank you for all this that happened. I don't hate you. And I've heard that you have forgiven me. And I do forgive you too. So thank you. And I went to jail. But my mom followed behind me in the car. So I didn't even go behind bars. All I did was put my finger down. And they took a mugshot. And I tried to smile. And by the way, one of you special lucky winners will get a t-shirt and a blanket with my mugshot on it. I'll pull it from I'll pull it from a thing from season 1, and whoever gets it will get a blanket with my mugshot on it.
I mean, who doesn't want your mugshot?
I know, right? Like, it's just a sexy face on a sexy shirt. It's just gonna look good. But my hair is a bit long, so if y'all want that edgy Bryce, then you got it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went there, I got arrested, and then I got youthful offender. So it's off my record, and now God's blessed me with a job, a studio, friends.
So you can speak out about it.
I can speak out, and this is my testimony. This is how I better myself. I go to the gym. I'm going to get fit.
Gym is like the big thing, you know, like fitness in my life. It really was an outlet for me when I was going through a lot of stuff in my family. And, you know, instead of taking out my anger on other people or anything, like I just went to the gym and like just making you feel better and just like in anything, even if like you don't want to go, whatever.
Right.
But like even whenever, you know, you're going through stuff, it's just like whenever you find your outlet that, you know, you can go to or whatever and do, and it's just like you're home away from home, then it's like better.
It is.
Know?
And I'm just glad I can be in a place where I can find out who I am, like find out my morals, find out my values, find out who I like, find out if I gotta like myself before you can love anyone else.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And I love myself. I'm pretty narcissistical now, if I'm being honest. I love myself so much.
Yeah.
And it's just everything's just going good. And I do have plans for this podcast. Actually, we don't have it now, but we'll have another camera system that goes right there, and like we'll play board games, and sometimes the board game would be the topic of discussion. Like I got someone coming and we're gonna play Jenga, right?
Awesome.
And the topic's gonna be tension. So it keeps the audience entertained. Kinda like sportscasting. Everybody wants to watch the game, they don't care. We're just there talking in the background.
Yeah, for sure.
But I hope I do use this outlet to be more creative with my work.
Yeah.
And just see where it goes from there, because I'm a man and I shouldn't settle for less, but I know I can have more.
I'm a man.
And you're a woman, and you should realize that you're more than a dishwasher.
Yeah, even though I really don't even wash dishes.
I don't either, but that's why we got actual dishwashers.
Yeah.
Because we're too good to be productive.
Too good for that.
I only lift weights, not dishes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we should do a little challenge.
Okay.
We are going to down. We're going to down.
Uh-oh.
What?
My phone's out of storage.
Did it cut out the whole thing?
No, it just started. It just said that I'm out of storage now. I'll go and delete my...
We can stop it now.
Okay. I can go now, I think.
No, because we need to do this challenge, and we gotta go upstairs. We're going to down a protein shake and see who can finish the fastest.
Okay.
Oh.
Plug in this light. I want to see what it looks like. You know you have a